I posted the third of 3 videos on reading the other day, and I wanted to follow up on that briefly. Before I do that, of course, I have to speak to the kids that we continue to find on our residential schools who should be here, who were murdered. I should also speak to the ongoing issues in Ukraine, and that whole thing is horrific. And something that troubles me equally as well are those who deny the reality. Someone would say that these deaths have been it's staged, and I find that just utterly disgusting. The pain that some folks are going through, and then to have people who are not there but who can see with their own eyes deny it, it's just disgusting. There. That being said, I wanted to very quickly follow up on the idea of reading. And friends, I've been on the road for 20 years and had all kinds of wonderful experiences working with all age groups. And one of the things that I picked up on is to become a reader, what you need is one book, not a whole lot more than that. One book. Find the right book, get it into the hands of the person who wants to become a reader, and you're going to have a reader because they'll read it. They say, "Whoa, that was good. Okay, give me another." And it builds like that. The more you do it, the better it gets. Simple as that. So I would go into a high school and I'd speak to kids and I'd say, what you need is one book. And when I speak to a teacher's conference, I'd say, you have to make sure that you put into the hands of your students that one book that's going to grab them, that's just going to hook them. And I wanted to speak briefly to that now. In a nutshell, my focus has been on Indigenous values and cultures, and a lot of my writings have been. And so that I'd like to speak to a book that I think an adult reader or a high school reader might use that you might use if you could get it into their hands. I was speaking in Nain, Labrador, a few years ago, and someone came to me and said, "I just heard what you said, and if what you said is true, I'd like to ask you about that one book." I'm a very wealthy person. As you can see, I'm in the government here, and but I don't read, and it's an embarrassment to me that I don't read. But more than that, I feel it's something that I'm missing, and I was wondering if you could help me with that. And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So what you need to get into the right books into that person's hands, a book that they can read, so it can't be layered and can't be too difficult, and B, something that they can see themselves in. And I said, there is a book. It's a series of short stories written by John Seagrave, the late John Seagrave, whose wife Lisa, I think, still owns the Midnight Gallery in Yellowknife. And what John does is he writes these short stories, some are 2-3 pages long, about his experiences while working for the Hudson's Bay Company. He's a Toronto boy who started to work for the Hudson's Bay Company and spent 20 or 25 years of his life around the north. And some of his experiences are absolutely mind-shattering. And I know that he would enjoy that. Likewise, I don't mind telling any of you, if you're a Canadian and you want to know what it's like in the north, John's book does it all. So it's called The Hudson's Bay Boy, and it's by John Seagrave. This is what it looks like. And if you're looking for that one book for an adult reader, for a high school reader, and I guess to a certain extent for even middle school readers, they're short stories. You can read them with your students. You can put them into them. It's a no-brainer. So one book is all it takes, and this one I'd highly recommend.